Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. It's another poll and another day of misery for Humza Yousaf. He must be used to it by now. But his claim that should the SNP win the most Scottish seats at the next general election, that would be his mandate to begin negotiations on independence. Seems to think of very little else, doesn't he? Well, bad news, me old mucker. It turns out that you're not going to get the most seats. The latest poll by Sir John Curtice, who is notoriously accurate in his predictions, show that you're not going to get them. Labour will get 50% of all the seats. And by the time you whip out a few Lib Dems and the Tories, oh dear, it's not going to be very good at all. It's going to be even worse than even you thought. And that, of course, is even before tactical voting comes into play. And, of course, we've already announced earlier with Reform UK standing, that will also split the Tory vote, meaning Labour are likely to get even more seats. Oh dear. Independence appears to be dead in the water. What a shame. Let's have a look. So, more misery for Humza Yousaf as Sir John Curtice makes Labour's 50% prediction for general election. So if Labour take half the seats, that is an immense amount. That's 29, 30 seats. Humza Yousaf is going to be dead in the water. The Tories will take a few. Lib Dems will take a few. He's not going to be even close to having the majority of seats. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. The SNP are widely expected to lose seats at the general election, and the country's top pollster reckons Labour could win 24 seats in a huge blow to the Nats. Humza Yousaf have been dealt another major blow after a top pollster said that Labour had up to a 50% chance of winning the most seats in Scotland at the next general election. Professor Sir John Curtice reckons Scotland will be the new key battleground on who gets the keys to Downing Street, and it could spell even worse news for the SNP leader. Well, the worse the news for him, the better for everyone else. That's how these things work. Of course, he's only the leader for now. Whether he's the leader at the time of the election is another matter, and he certainly won't be leader any time after the election. He will have to go. The old grandees will come and have a word in his small shell-like and say, on your bike, mate. Anyway, the Nats are widely anticipated to lose seats when the country goes to the polls sometime this year. And some analysis suggests they could even fall into second place behind a resurgent Labour Party, which is enjoying a big poll lead across the UK under Sir Keir Starmer. Although nobody knows why, because he's not that popular. It just seems to be that everyone else is even less popular. While the Nats will still be favourites to win the most seats north of the border, Sir John rated Labour's chances of winning the most Scottish seats as between 40 and 50%. And he said to the Daily Record, the party could potentially win a couple of dozen seats in Scotland, a huge rise from the 2 it currently holds. Now, if it won half the seats of Scotland, the majority of the seats of Scotland, it makes Humza Yousaf's claim about independence dead. It makes any claim of moving forward with independence dead. It will show Humza Yousaf to be a failure as a leader, and he will have to go. And of course, if he does go, then you are going to have a leadership race, and it will come down really between Kate Forbes, Mary McCallan, maybe Angus Fraser, and probably nobody else. It's that bad. Although if Stephen Flynn, if old Beryl gets thrown out in his ear at the general election, he may look to have a safe little seat up in Scotland, try and get someone to resign so they can wedge him in. Who knows? He'd love to do it. He would absolutely love to be leader. And I think everyone who's not SNP would love him to be leader, because we know he'd be useless at it. He's useless in Parliament, so he might as well be useless in Holyrood. Anyway, the insulation against voter perception of the performance of the Scottish Government seems now to be wearing away, he said. Voters who think, for example, the health service is not doing so well are now less likely to vote for the SNP in a way that was not seen 12 months ago. Basically, what Curtis is saying is people are opening their eyes, they're looking around, and they're seeing how bad a mess the SNP have made of, well, just about everything. Yeah, they have a leader who is not popular and is not regarded as competent, and or at least not as competent as his predecessor. And a general election must be held before the end of January next year, but most commentators believe it will be taken in May or possibly October. It all depends on how good they are going in after the budget in March, basically. The SNP won 48 out of 59 seats in 2019, but have since lost 2 to Alba and Lisa Cameron to the Tories. Angus MacNeil sits as an independent, and then Labour took a seat off them at Rutherglen. So they're slowly whittling down. Nature is doing to them what the polls couldn't, and they're slowly losing that majority. I mean, they're still safe because they've got the Greens, but it isn't a good safe. It's really close. Scottish Labour Deputy Leader Dame Jackie Bailey said voters were tired of the same old division and the decline of the SNP and the Tories, and claimed Labour would offer a fresh start, which they're very, very much likely to get. Let's be honest, it's going to be a Labour government. And then she's doing a bit of politicking, which we're not really interested in. But we do have now Curtis saying Labour likely to be the majority party in Scotland, and with the seats, apart from Labour's majority, you're then going to have the seats of the Lib Dems and the Tories, and these seats here will be whittling out of the SNP. The SNP become a very minor force. Now that's what it is. Tactical voting. Who knows how low they can go? I mean, it doesn't take much, and with a bit of tactical voting, it can be done, and we can show them the door in 24. Because once they get below a certain, what's the term, critical mass, they cease to earn enough money from the Westminster list money that they will go entirely bankrupt. Although rumour has it, well, not rumour, there is a story that Humza Yousaf is a busy man. He's courting millionaires at the moment, begging them for money. Please, please, please give us money. So far, none's come. Why would they? Why would they do this? Knowing, for example, that there's open court cases now. There's open investigations left, right and centre. Why would anyone align themselves and give money to a party that may not even be here in 12 months' time, because half of them will be in jail? Anyway, we'll round off and come up and we'll finish the video. Now, I mentioned there about Humza Yousaf begging millionaires for money. And we've got that. It's the very next story. So keep an eye out for that. But they are, as a party, completely broke. And a bad result in the election, the general election, could see them finished. And it is possible. And so knowing how weak they are, knowing how unpopular they are, will the millionaires give Humza Yousaf money? And if they give him anything, will it be enough? I suspect not. I suspect that even they will sort of think, well, it's good money after bad, isn't it? So why give it away? What can they do for me? Well, nothing now. These millionaires only give in the expectation of receiving something back. And it seems that the SNP are unlikely to be able to provide anything very much. Anyway, we'll finish there, round off, we'll come up, and we'll round off and we'll finish the video and we'll move on to the next one. But thank you very much for watching. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.